Hello, Paul. How you doing? You had a good week?
Yeah, yes, I have. I've had a very good week. It's been a big weekend. So I moved my daughter on Friday from a basement flat
Yeah.
to a second floor flat. So you can
Right. Okay.
imagine that was a lot of, and no lift, no lift.
So you're a
That
bit
was
achy.
I'm a bit, yeah. Well, I would be, except on Sunday, yesterday, I competed in Portsmouth Athletics Club Victory 5 mile race,
Wow. Wow. How did you
which
get? How did
which
you get on?
I was I'm gonna give you the best stat. I was 10th in age group.
Oh, well, you,
I think I was 217th overall, but 10th in age group.
that's still good though, isn't it,
Oh,
Paul?
thank you. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
quite
You're
pleased with
very
that.
good.
I was
Yeah.
quite pleased. But yeah, so I'm yes, I'm recovering.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a
I'm
bit
looking forward.
achy in
Yeah, a
recovery.
little bit, a little bit, a little bit. How about you? How about you? What's going on?
Yeah. We had a bit of a tricky week with illness and things flying around the house and a leak, which I'll come on into a moment. But we had my wife and I went to a 90s themed dinner party on Saturday, so that was good fun.
Was 90s food?
Themed 90s themed, so we had to sort of dress in the theme of the 90s essentially. So people turned up as Posh Spice and David Beckham was one,
Yes.
and I was retro, kind of wearing a Gladiators t-shirt and kind of blue wash jeans and a cap backwards. That was about the best I could do in the time frame, but yeah, so that was good fun. That was good fun.
I think pictures are required
Yeah,
at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. Maybe I'll flash them up on the screen if
Yes.
people are lucky. um, but yeah, the other thing that happened to me this week was that we had a bit of a leak in the kitchen, which was a bit of a nightmare. So yes, so we had to get the plumber around, and it got me thinking actually that do you ever get a plumber that's not based on word of mouth? So as soon as that sort of thing happens, I was straight on the phone to my friends. Do you know anyone
Yes.
good? Do you know anyone who's good? And then, someone was put forward who was good, and they were brilliant. I have to say, they came round, sorted the problem out, stopped the water leaking, fixed all the piping that needed fixing, and offered it was a really good price. It wasn't too low, not too high. You don't want it too low because then you're sort of wondering, is this a good job? Is this a quality job? But yeah, you don't want it too high either. So they kind of got bang on the money, and it's perfect. It got me thinking. Actually, it's one of those areas, isn't it, where if you've got a really good your product's really good, which is obviously your service and doing a really good job at the plumbing, and then you do a good price and you're hospitable, you're gonna get recommendation through word of mouth, and that's your marketing, isn't it? Essentially, I know you're gonna appear on those lists online when you're kind of searching plumbers and things. You've got to be on there, haven't you? But do you?
Well, you see, it's interesting because if you were working for Checkatrade or somewhere like that, you would be worried, wouldn't you? Because I think you're right. You see, because I suspect every tradesperson has got more work than they need, so they don't need to promote, which then leads you to think if you're promoting through one of the intermediaries, does that mean that you haven't got enough work?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how do they deal with that? It's a tricky one.
Yeah, yeah. I was wondering the same thing. The these guys said they'd never been busier, so they're probably not pushing. They're probably not pushing too hard on the marketing. But then, like you say, you don't want to not appear on these lists, do you? Because you people might not. There's a trust thing, isn't there? So yeah, it's interesting. It's got me thinking. But we always talk about the sort of the other P, don't we? The promotion side, but it just got me thinking about the other two. And actually, that's one area where if you're really good in those two, that's a lot of your core kind of marketing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, yeah. And so your I guess your product is your promotion in that the word of mouth
It
is
in
is
a
what does it. So is the leak fixed?
All fixed, yeah, all fixed. No more water running through the ceiling, which was, we got a new kitchen last year, so it wasn't very nice, but yeah, no, all fixed, all done, all done.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, I got a couple of insights last week,
Yeah,
which we're sharing. I went to a very good Learning Live event at WPP Media. So this was organised by the Learning and Performance Institute. Good
Yes.
bunch of people, really nice bunch of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the talk was around AI, and WPP Media talked about how they have trained 27,000 people to use their new AI-powered media planning app. But what it got me thinking about was that there was a lot of talk about hybrid workforces. So where you have a hybrid team, where you have AI agents and real people, and you are managing the two of them. And I don't know about you, but I think that's quite hard to get your head around. And you'd have to experience it to really start to understand what that might mean. But I think there is a stepping stone, which is to start to introduce AI as, if you like, an equal participant into business meetings. So imagine if you had, I don't know, a campaign development meeting, you've got 4 people around the table. One of them has got AI there on their laptop as a 5th participant.
Yeah.
And you then use it for things like sense checking. Have we covered all the options? Summarizing, confirming actions, maybe a bit of challenge and build in terms of the different ways we could think about this. And I thought that is going to be a really interesting way of starting to move AI from being a one-on-one conversation, which is really, really good for, but to start it being incorporated into teams. What do you think?
Yeah.
Genius or madness?
I think it's genius, Paul. I think it's genius because I think someone in my team is very good at this kind of being proactive with putting AI out there essentially. So I think he did something similar where he took AI to kind of like a brainstorming session, had it up on his laptop
Yeah,
and used
nice.
it as kind of spitting out kind of some of the ideas. And so I think it's a really good way of using it. And I think we've spoken about this before, kind of thinking of it as like a marketing intern, isn't it? And actually, there's something around that you're using that in meetings as a way of kind of test running these things. I think it could catch on. I wonder how many people are doing it actually already. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think many. And I think I was going to use it today, but it gets problematic. This is where tech gets in the way. Problematic in that with earpods in, you can't then capture all the meeting.
Right.
We would need AI built into this software we're using to record this pod. But yeah, I don't think many people are doing it. I'm going to start doing it with some of my meetings, obviously with the permission of those involved, because I think is a practical step
Yeah.
to get us going. The other thing, which was really interesting last week, was I went to the Ingenuity Plus In-Betweeners Christmas party hosted by our good friend, Mr. Richard Robinson. You were missed, Warren. Of course, but then you're not in between, so you weren't eligible. Although I'm not in between anymore. But anyway, but it was very good, and there was a guest there, which was Laura Fox, the LinkedIn Fox, is how she likes to go.
Right.
And she is expert on how one uses LinkedIn
Okay.
and said a number of interesting things, 2 which stuck in my mind. One is, well, here we go, try this. Do you think it matters what time of day you send or place your LinkedIn posts?
I think it probably does matter. I would assume. I would assume it did. You know what? As soon as I said it, I was going to be wrong.
You fell into my trap. So no, apparently it does not matter because
Right.
this is the second, there is a new algorithm, and the new algorithm prioritizes content from people, I guess your connections or people who are close to you.
Yeah.
You get far less random stuff, and therefore if you post it at midnight or at midday, it will still share it with you, which is why a lot of my friends and connections have said to me in the last week, you've got a new pod, because it's been spammed into their LinkedIn feed.
I feel, I don't know if to feel sorry for them in a way because they're going to get more of it now, aren't they? But
They are.
that's interesting because I always overthink probably when to post on LinkedIn. And actually, it's quite nice to know that you haven't really got to think too hard about it, and actually, it's just
Yeah,
going to go to your
exactly.
network.
Yeah. Think hard about the content. Don't think hard about when
The
to post it
timing.
for maximum impact.
Well, that is very. Is that recent that they've done that with the algorithm? It's a recent
Yeah,
thing.
I think in the last few months, and I guess it takes a while to percolate through. I don't quite know.
Well, it's very pertinent, isn't it, with this podcast, because that's generally where we post it. So it's good to know. It's good to know.
Yeah.
And actually, on that note, obviously we've only done one podcast, but we had I sort of dared to call it a bit of fan mail.
Really?
Someone I know,
For you, Warren, clearly.
to us, obviously to us, Paul. Um, Someone I know actually messaged me and said, love the podcast and the insights," and actually
Nice.
referred to your Specsavers story last week at Forest Green about the ad, obviously, that was displayed within the ground, and referred to an old one that they liked, which was the AA had posted about a Specsavers van that got caught under one of these kind of rising bollards that you see.
Yes.
And very jovially put, "We heard you're in a spot of bother and had to come see for ourselves. Don't worry, it's okay. You're with the AA. Hashtag should have called the AA." So just
Lovely.
a bit of a return response, I suppose, to some of the good stuff that Specsavers do. They're kind of trying to be a bit clever with their word in there. But yeah,
Nice.
that's
I
it.
love that.
Yeah. And what are you seeing around actually this week, Paul, in the marketing world? Is there things you've seen that of interest, or things that have kind of
Yes.
grinding your gears?
Yes, there's been lots going on. I think what has mildly perplexed and irritated me is the FIFA World Cup draw, which I think was it Friday or was it Thursday? It was
It's
last week.
Friday.
It's Friday,
Yeah.
and I just looked at this. I mean, for anybody who's not aware of it, there's the draw for the World Cup. It's not a complicated thing. You've got a bunch of teams in groups and you work out who's playing who next year. But it seemed to turn into something almost as big as the tournament itself, with massive publicity and trails, the inclusion of a peace prize.
Yeah.
And I just thought, is this just me, or is this somebody? Is this more about the key people at FIFA wanting to fluff their egos than doing something that fans are actually interested in and want? And I landed pretty heavily on that conclusion, that this wasn't meeting an unmet need. There is no unmet need to have a massive fanfare around the simple pulling out of a hat of various team names. There's just a bunch of people in FIFA who have got carried away with their own excitement and status, and created something that nobody really wants or needs. So that's as you can tell, got me slightly
Yeah.
vexed in the last
Well,
few days.
it was a strange one, wasn't it? Like, I finished work on the Friday and then came in and was just flicking through the channels with the kids, and it was on, and it was in the background, and I was like, what? I didn't know what it was at first, if I'm honest. It was, I think, Robbie Williams and Nicole Scherzinger were singing, and then kind of worked out that it was the draw, which was like a bit perplexing because, like you said, it felt. Don't most people just want to know like what group they're in? That's what you want
Yeah,
to get to, like
yeah,
the actual
yeah.
thing. And it did feel a bit drawn out. There was one point where they brought the kind of they were very they were very good in what they were doing, and obviously great sports people, but they bring them out on the stage to kind of do the different pots, weren't they? And it just felt like that went on for ages, that bit. And then there was this sort of overcomplicated explanation of how to do the draw as well, wasn't there? So it was all a bit, yeah, it
It's
was all
not
a bit strange.
complicated, is it? Really, it's
No,
not.
pulling stuff out of a hat, and there's certain teams that can't be drawn against other confederations, wasn't there? And it was a bit strange. I wonder what the objective of it was. I suppose, I guess, just to put a light on the kind of the America in a way. It felt like, didn't it, that this was their kind of World Cup. Which
Yeah, I mean,
isn't the World
yeah,
Cup, is it? It's Canada and
I,
Mexico.
yeah, and I sort of get that. I sort of get that. Let's make a big noise because you can anticipate the big matchups.
Yeah,
But my sense would be get the draw out the way,
yeah,
and then get into the conversation about this team versus that team, that person versus that person. But it just seemed over grand and a step too far, frankly. I mean, if there's a draft like the NFL or the 100
Yeah,
in
get it.
England with cricket, that's interesting because you're looking at which player is going to get into which team. But this is just going too far. Maybe nice try, but too much is my
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I was trying to think that what they did the last one. I can't really remember. Maybe that's because it wasn't like this one. Maybe
I suspect so.
we'll probably remember this for it being kind of a bit too out there, won't we? But
Well,
yeah,
actually, probably what will happen is it'll get bigger and bigger and more boring, and people will switch off, and
yeah.
people will start getting interested in grassroots sport because they quite
Well,
understandably people don't like it when it becomes all about the money and the access and have you got a ticket to the draw and all this stuff. They want the authentic experience.
it's kind of, I think grassroots football has become bigger, right? I think the more people go to watch lower league football now.
Are they? Yeah.
Someone's going to stat check me on this, but I'm sure it's as popular as it's ever been. Yeah, there's something rings true about that. I think it's more affordable, isn't it? You can go and watch a game of football rather than it's harder, isn't it, going up the top of the league?
But no football next week because we talked about Forest Green Rovers last week.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
fault.
yeah,
And the World Cup this week. So next week, no football.
yeah. Okay, that's it. We're off. We're off football. We're off football. I was thinking actually, should we? It's hard. It's hard to, isn't it? But whether we should ban the word AI at any point because we bring it up so often, don't we? But it's hard. It's
No,
hard
you
to.
can't. No,
What are
no.
we talking about?
So tell me, what is on your horizon, Warren?
Well, I'll tell you something that I just saw this week actually. For and obviously I work in the charity sector and I've worked in it for many years. So I wanted to tip my hat to. I don't know if you've seen it, Paul. The Save the Children ad that came out
Yes,
last
yes.
week. I think like everyone thought it was the Coca-Cola kind of holidays are coming truck ad in anticipation. You think Christmas is officially starting when you see that ad, isn't it? Uh, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, you see the trucks light up, you hear the music, the Christmas kind of warm Christmas music, and then actually very quickly those lights go off, and they turn into sort of Save the Children trucks. Obviously, they're aid trucks delivering aid to children in need in various countries. So I just thought it was really powerful, very clever kind of way of tapping into the holiday season and the kind of the warm, fuzzy feelings we all get, but then really delivering a hard message that Christmas isn't like that for everyone, and it kind of tapped into this kind of cultural thing that we all see every year. I thought it was really good, really powerful, really powerful work. And I think that's one of the things maybe with charities that we talk about purpose a lot, don't we, in brands? Charities obviously can talk about that with greater vigor than anyone because there is real purpose behind these things. And so that Save the Children ad, I just thought was brilliant. I won from my point of view. I quite liked the John Lewis ad, but actually I think that ad might have stolen a march on it for me. I thought it was very
I
clever.
think so. I didn't quite get the John Lewis one, but I think that Save the Children one is good. And what I loved about it is they didn't sort of telegraph the punchline, or
Yes,
they didn't overstate it. You had to do a little bit of just
thinking.
well, you just
Yeah,
left you as a viewer to work it out and to work out what you took out of it.
yeah,
But I mean, the message is pretty clear. Um, I don't know what metrics would they have? Would it be simply the donation
yeah.
data?
Well, they've got there's a URL on the ad /trucks. So I did actually tap it in, and it obviously gives you more detail on kind of what the issues are and kind of why it's more pertinent around this time of year. So I think the metrics, obviously, they'll probably be measuring your usual brand kind of metrics, but donations is probably one of them if they see an uplift in that as well. And then, obviously, like me, I clicked on the URL as well. But donations would be in the long run over a longer period of time, maybe not straight away. You probably get a short uplift in the run up to Christmas as you do. But what I would say is they've been very clever and I've probably got quite a lot of cut through. So it probably is.
I think so, and it's probably not probably in my mind, it's lifted the whole topic of charitable giving at Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that is the point. I think in the way they've structured the ad, it kind of raises that question, right? Like about very much, where do you give your money at Christmas, essentially? So yeah, I thought it was very powerful, very powerful. And I could see that running next year as well. I could see them using that again, and you're still kind of falling into the same trap. So it's one, I think it's one that's probably got legs.
Yeah, yeah, good pick, good pick. Cool. Well, I'm off on the Eurostar in a couple of hours, off
Yeah,
to Brussels. Yes,
yeah,
it's 2 days with
yeah,
the European Institute. I sit on the board of the Institute of Education for Commercial Communications, EDCOM,
yeah.
which will be brilliant. So I'm going to be working with the team to talk about a few ways we can get academia closer to business. We've just been working on the value proposition. I've helped them define the value proposition
Amazing.
for EdCom. That'll be good. And I've also helped them with a podcast, funnily enough. So
Really?
that should be coming out in January on topics like ethnocentricity, simulated humans, AI replacing learning, some really, really good stuff where academia's got some really interesting thinking going on, which I think is directly and indirectly relevant to business. So I'll shout about that more.
Yeah.
And I'll be in the European Effie's Awards on Wednesday, not Thursday, on Wednesday, and the conference as well, the European Effie's conference. So I'm going to bring back lots of examples of brilliance from around Europe, having been to that.
I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear about that, Paul. Sounds like you've got lots going on. I can't wait to hear your experience of the Eurostar and your travel as well, and how you find Belgium. That'd be good to know as well.
Yeah, we'll share.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
For me, so things are starting. There isn't lots going on for me, sort of in terms of going out and about, because we're going to run up to Christmas. So I've got a fairly quiet couple of weeks. But one thing I will shout out and plug is probably the Royal Albert Hall shows lineup has been announced yesterday. If you're listening to this tomorrow, it's gone live. The Manic Street Preachers, we've got Churches. It's a brilliant. People want a nice Christmas present, they can buy their tickets on this Friday.
Very nice. That is exciting. Did you get your Spotify Wrapped review in the last week?
Do you know what, Paul? I use Amazon Music, which is a bit controversial, right? So I think they do something similar, but I haven't looked at it yet. But did you? What was on your list?
Well, I use YouTube Music, and my music tastes were categorized as undescribable. And I think it's because when I go to the gym, I listen to, I think you call it trance music.
Yeah.
So you've got trance music mixed up with, there's a bit of AC/DC in there, and there's a bit of classical stuff as well. So it's a smorgasbord, which understandably AI has not been able to categorize.
Well, I think what you could call that is eclectic, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so eclectic, they couldn't categorize.
Yeah, I think we're all eclectic. I think that is the reality.
Reality. Well, I think you should share it. I think you should share it on socials.
Oh, I will. I think that's a good idea. I'll do that. And one last thing before I forget is this coming week, as well as going to Brussels, I am thinking about brand positioning, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I've been digging out Rees and Trout, 1981, positioning the battle for your mind. I hope you're au fait with that one, Warren.
No, you tell me more.
Well, they produced the seminal book, arguably, on brand positioning. I have been doing all my desk research in the last few days, and there's quite a gap. Well, there's a gap. I mean, people do talk about brand positioning, and there's a bit of stuff on YouTube and a bit of stuff in writing, but I think it's not as well defined and as clear cut as it needs to be. So I'm going to make it thus, because I've got to do a seminar on the topic in the new year.
I think you're right. I think this is really, and I think as well as it's an internal thing as well. I think in terms of how you explain it to people across the organisation a lot of the time, as well as as much as like how you then take that into an external world. I think you're right. I think there is a gap, actually, as you say that. I think there is, and the fact that I'm going to go up and read on it now. That book.
We'll talk about it next week. And I'm gonna, I'll have some more crystallized views. But that's what's coming up. Yeah, it's a good old week.
Great stuff. Well, have a good time, and see you next Monday.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Warren. Take care.
Cheers. Have a good one, Paul.